Today, we are going to talk about how to get more newsletter subscribers in 2023. But first and foremost, Neil, why do people even care about newsletters? I saw a tweet yesterday and someone's like, email's dying. It doesn't matter as much anymore.
Well, if email was dying, MailChimp would have been bought out for what, I think 10 or $11 billion. And there's a lot of newsletter companies too that have sold for a good amount of money because it just works. Your email list is one of your highest ROI channels. There was a marketer by the name of John Reese years and years ago. He used to call his email list as his ATM. I still believe it's true. You send out an email, you make money. The caveat that I would give to people leveraging email marketing is if your emails suck, it's not going to work. And if you think email is a waste of time, look how the whole corporate world works. It's run by email.
I mean, when you think about it, email, it's very easy to say, oh, at the end of the day, what kind of earnings you're getting per subscriber, right? And if email wasn't I know one of our clients, Axios, they just sold for like $553 million. And, Morning Brew, they sold to Business Insider for like a good chunk. And now they're doing like 75 million a year. And I know The Hustle, I think they probably sold for like 27, $30 million, something like that. But the whole idea is that email, I still subscribe to a lot of emails. And in fact, I have this to read section or filter in my own Gmail. And that's like the only stuff I read. I read a bunch of Substacks. I read Axios. There's like only a handful of things I read to kind of get smarter. That's where I get my knowledge from. And that's why even for marketing school itself, we've actually have like a copywriter just summarizing, curating our content each week and just sending out a weekly email. And those of you just go to marketingschool.io/newsletter, because we create so much content that it just makes sense at the end of the day to have a newsletter just to, help people, keep in touch. And so what we want to talk about here is how you can actually get more newsletter subscribers. So what I would say, number one, my tactic is actually, if you're starting from scratch right now, create a Substack. And the only reason I'm saying create a Substack is because Substack has discoverability. You can also use Beehive as well. That's another option. But Substack, basically what happens is when you subscribe to one newsletter, it'll recommend a couple other ones. And so you can create like a collective and, everyone can kind of just recommend each other and you're going to grow a lot faster that way, right? And then what you can do afterwards is once your Substack gets to a certain volume, you can think about switching all your subscribers over to another email service provider. Maybe in that case, you move over to Beehive, or you can use like a ConvertKit. But I haven't seen any other discoverability aside from Beehive or Substack.
Yeah. Number two, block off some of your premium content. So give people more premium content if they subscribe. Here's what I mean by this. I'm not talking about, hey, if you want this ebook, put in your email. I'm talking about you may have this blog post and it may end up breaking down like 101 ways to double your search engine traffic. And you may end up giving someone the first 50 for free, but if they keep scrolling and they want to get 51 through 100, put in the email address. You can also do content upgrades in which, if you have a list post like 20 ways to double your traffic, they can also download the infographic version for if they give their email address as well.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is just creating a better offer. And so what that means is you can give away software for free, or you can give away an ebook that's kind of tried and true. But what's such a good offer that you give away where it's like it's such a no-brainer, right? And so could be free software, could be access to you, could be access to like an event or something that's very exclusive. People like that stuff, right? And so think about the most insane thing that you can give away and then work downwards and then work towards something that's more realistic. That's going to do better.
Yeah. The last thing I have from my end that I've tested out that works extremely well is do an exit pop-up that's like a quiz. Because when you do a quiz, you can end up you can end up segmenting what people want or, their qualifications, if you would want to call it. It gives you a little bit more data on the subscribers. So that way you can better segment's actually the right word, not filter, but you can better segment what people are looking for. And then you can put them in different lists and then you can send them emails that are related to what they're looking for. Quizzes convert extremely well. People will put in their email address to get the results. And then you can segment, which will then boost your conversions as well.
Yeah, the final thing I'll say from my side is do trades. And so I see other marketing newsletters trading and they're kind of sponsoring other newsletters, right? So they might have a little slot and it's like, oh, go check out this newsletter over here. This is highly recommended. And so, for marketing school one, we could say, oh, we recommend like the Stacked Marketer newsletter, right? There's a handful of other ones that are out there. And then that way it's kind of like we're creating our own little collective in there. And so you don't necessarily need to pay for that. It's kind of like how we do these podcast swaps or podcast impression swaps that we did with like Jordan Harbinger. That's a good example. So That is it for today. If you want our kind of curated content each week from this podcast, just go to marketingschool.io/newsletter and you can subscribe for free. It's just our way of kind of continuing to give back to you. So